getting sober. So I also celebrated. It's been 2 years since I've had any alcohol. I never particularly had an alcohol problem, but not drinking, it's a real blessing. I'm a big fan now that I don't drink anymore. I drink a lot of these Richard's rainwaters, and like about 12 of these a day. And it's pretty much all I drink, except I do drink a lot of milk. I've recently started that.
You need to...
A few days a week. And basically, when I'm home, I drink milk. When I'm out shooting, I don't.
You need to not drink milk.
Well, that's what you keep saying.
Research it.
I know.
You'd be surprised.
Well, yeah.
Milk is actually really bad for people.
You think?
Oh, yeah. I don't think. I know.
Okay.
You know what my friend told me one time? You know what my friend told me one time? She's like, just think of it like this. You're drinking cow pus. Don't drink it. That's what milk is. I was like,
I like me some cow pus. I mean, what can I say?
How hard was it for you to get sober?
Fear was a big motivator in that for me. You know, losing my family was the thing that scared me so much. That was the bottom I hit, that my family's going to go away because of my behaviors that I brought home from the road. I got kicked out of the house by my wife. I was living on my own somewhere, and I did not want that.
We see this so often.
yeah.
Alcohol destroys marriages badly. It's not good.
I occasionally have a drink here and there. I'm not a big drinker. Never have been. I'm definitely a person that could go a whole year without having one. Because I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Yep.
Alcohol makes me tired. So why do I want to feel, unless I'm ready to just go to bed. But
Daniel gets happy. He gets giggly.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, but he doesn't drink that often
No.
either. Neither one of us do. I mean,
No.
every great now and then. He probably has a beer or, a margarita more than I do. Like, there's times we go to a restaurant, I'm like, tea or water. He's the opposite. He might have a beer, But I don't really, I could go a whole year and I could count on one hand how many drinks I've had.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe as part of my upbringing, my family kind of disintegrated when I was a kid. Father left, mother passed away, I had to live with my brother, and then kind of just all, like the family, where'd my stuff go? Where it just kind of floated away. And I do not want that happening, no matter.
Sometimes that fear keeps people in real bad marriages. And if you're in a bad marriage, the number one thing I can tell you is eliminate alcohol first, permanently on both sides, like both people.
Well, a lot of people drink to numb themselves
Right.
from whatever they're
And that is the
dealing with.
exact wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on, we're going to talk this stuff out and make it work,
Good. And he got it right. Elimination of alcohol, key.
And my wife's of the same idea, same thought that, her family, she was the invisible kid too, so we relate a lot. So there's no way we're going to let, any argument get in the way, or just, we're survivors. We're survivors, and we're going to talk through it no matter how much. And, she did the right thing. She kicked my ass right the hell out of the house,
Good. Especially if he was drinking and alcohol was the problem.
Yep.
And that scared the shit out of me. So, and she said, hey, you're not just going to the therapist now. You're just not just talking about this. You got to go somewhere and sort this shit out.
Exactly. Too many people just go and talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And that has its place. When we lost Worthy, I had to go. I probably went 10 times for 2 to 3 hours a session talking through that. By the way, this is, today. This is the 5-year anniversary of when we found Worthy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I remember it was like a fall time, but I don't remember the date.
It would have been this afternoon. It was actually late in the day because I looked up when that hearing was, because I remember because we partially he named him after our client.
Really?
The worth part.
Yeah.
And and I looked at what time that hearing was. It was like a 3:00 hearing.
That's so.
And so
funny.
Daniel and I must have finished at 5:00. We went out to that little place. I had a drink.
Yeah.
and ate I don't know, burger or something. And when we came out, that's when they were there and had Worthy. And I happened to have taken Summer's car with the crates in it, and so we brought Worthy home that day.
Yeah.
Exactly 5 years ago.
I know. I remember when Daniel told me about him. So he was supposed to bring him to our house.
Yeah, which he wouldn't. He would have jumped the fence and run away and not been. It would have been a problem.
Yeah.
He was meant to be here, and he had 10 times the life that he was going to have otherwise.
Yeah,
So.
you saved him that day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So rehab really worked for me.
How long did you have to go for?
Well, what worked for me was 7 weeks someplace.
Wow.
Like basically tearing you down to bones, ripping your life apart. Anything you thought about yourself or what it was, anything you thought you had, your family, your career, your anything, gone. Strip you down to just, okay, you're born. Here's how you were when you were born. You were okay. You're a good person. Let's get back to that again.
That's a good.
Rehab.
Yeah. That's a good description of it.
Yeah. Because a lot of rehabs for celebrities, it's like paradise.
Yeah.
But if you're going to correct a problem, you've got to be
Yep.
brought down.
You got exactly.
You got to hit rock bottom.
All mental.
And then they slowly rebuild you. And then I went to
sounds very similar to what they try and do in law school too.
another.
Beat you down
Yeah.
and slowly bring you back up.
Yeah, it is a 3-year hazing is really what it is.
Aftercare places. I went there to a couple different ones, and they fine-tune stuff and get you integrated back into life. Because when you're in this cocoon and you're friggin' raw. I mean, I was raw meat when I came out, and you can see it in that Some Kind of Monster movie. I was pretty raw still.
Interesting. I might want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Wonder if that's about his alcohol problem.
I didn't know what I could or what I should or shouldn't do, you know. So the last place we went to was a place that helps relationships.
Good.
Yeah.
That is very helpful. Relationships don't happen. Disney is a liar. There is no fairy tale happily ever after. It takes intentional work. You have to do that. And you should avail yourself to suggestions and help from professional people who know how to heal and help you have a good marriage. It doesn't just happen. You got to put in the effort. Don't be afraid. Don't cower down to it. Don't justify why you shouldn't do it. Everybody should do it. I've done it. Jennifer and Daniel have done it. It works. You need to. I have seen thousands and thousands of people that have come to me over the past 17 years. I see the worst of the worst. I see some of the best of the best. I see really good stuff. I know what you need to do. I know what the differences are. You should get counseling. Marriage counseling is there to teach you how to have a healthy marriage. And then you go out and you try it and you cycle back around. So what can we do better? Let's try and do it. What can we do better? What worked? What didn't? Let's try and do it. Avail yourself to that knowledge. Do it. It helps.
So they got me and my wife together, and we'd see people separately and then come together and talk about what we did. And communication friggin' saved my life.
Communication absolutely is the key, and you got to get real good at it.
Saved our family and working through that stuff. So very grateful for my wife. She's the one that didn't ask for this shit. She walked through fire with me, and we walked out together stronger, way stronger than we ever would have been before.
Exactly.
Yep.
Summer and I have done that. I'm sure you and Daniel have done that.
Oh, we've done re-engage at our church twice. We taught the last time. We were one of the leaders.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And, you know, my kids know my story. My kids know my struggles. And they respect that. They respect me in a different way. I don't have to tell them what to do all the time or just be like I'm this.
That's right, because the reasons why you do things, and if they know your why, then your why is the guidepost. They'll figure out how, they'll figure out what if they know the why.
Mm-hmm.
I can say sorry. I can tell them, hey, here's what happened when I did that. And, you know, I don't need to preach to them. They got their own stuff. But now they goof with me. I ruined my trust with my family. And now, by some miracle, they are goofing with me. It's like, Dad, shut up. What are you, I'm like, come on. You know, you're overblowing this. You're way out of, Dad, you're taking up way too much space here. Okay.
No, that's funny.
So they help me. And I realize that there is help in a loving way.
How long have you been sober now?
15 years.
Did it start?
Wow.
That's great.
Wow. And this is episode 887. I think Joe Rogan's at 2,000 or 3,000 at this point, because this is an older one. You know, I can tell from the set. This is a few years ago, so he may be up 20 years sober.
Start out
crazy.
when you
That's great.
first started doing it. Did it feel like as you broke through and you went to therapy and you got out of rehab and
He probably had a major identity crisis because you don't realize what alcohol does to you, but it becomes part of your identity, and you think, well, I'm not going to be with these friends anymore because they drink. And I'm not going to have this, and that's what I do. That's who I am.
Right.
You don't realize that the things that you do become who you are, and you face that. It's a major identity crisis. And when I quit, I mean, I was one of the top wine raters in the world, VIP treatment, any vineyard I wanted to go to, and I'm friends with, I think, the greatest winemaker alive on the planet Earth, who is
that? Who do you feel is the greatest?
Who do I feel?
Yeah.
Of course you say that, and I had his name 10 seconds ago, and then now you ask me. It's Russell Bevan.
Okay.
And Russell and Heidi, his wife, they're friends, and they're very, very good friends with some very, very good friends of ours, like Keith and Kathleen Wachowski, who are some of, if not our absolute best friends, and they're really good friends with Russell and Heidi, and so we spent some time with Russell and Heidi, and I mean I'm going out to California. I could go visit them while I'm there.
Yeah.
And
so what wine do they make? Because I'm not.
He's got more 100-point wines than any other American winemaker, and he released the Adversity Cellars wines in 2019.
Okay. Yeah.
And I have several bottles of it still. And I said when I was quitting, I said I have one regret, that I'm not going to taste this wine over the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And
why next 20 years?
It's that good.
In 20 years, you're going to drink again.
Because I bought a bottle. I was like, okay, this bottle I'm going to have in 3 years. This bottle I'm going to have in 7 years. This bottle I'm going to have in 15. This bottle I'm going to have in 20. That I don't get to see the evolution of that wine over the next 20 years. Because I know it's been 2 years. I could blind taste that wine, no question.
Right.
Among, that one is, Screaming Eagle, right? One of the best wines I've ever had.
Yeah. I've never had Screaming Eagle, but
it's good.
Definitely know Screaming Eagle. It's very hard to get.
And the first time I had that, it was a blind test. There was 5 wines.
Yeah.
And one was Screaming Eagle, and it was just from those, like, that's the Screaming Eagle. I'd never even seen it before or smelled it before. Yeah. But it was just that.
Have you had Scarecrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good as well. But holy cow, that Screaming Eagle was it's all that in a bag of chips.
So I was always trying to get Screaming Eagle into the Bob's I worked at. I had the hardest time locating that one.
I'm on the allocation list. I'm going to get my first bottle in about 12 years.
And you're probably going to pay $8,000.
I don't know how much is. Yeah, probably by that time. And I'm not gonna buy it because you can sell it for more than you get it for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you know,
people don't
we'll
realize wine.
Yeah.
I've got some bottles of wine at home. It's probably worth quite a bit. Some of them are like 2,000 and something.
But I know that, and I've thought, you know, yeah, I could taste it and spit, and it's just no.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm just. It's a chapter in my life that's closed, and I'm completely fine with. And I can talk about wine. I can be around wine. I can go to the wine club and hang out with the people that are my same friends, and you know, appreciate the wines. I can smell it, and they smell delicious. But I'm not in any way even tempted in any way to taste it or to definitely not to drink it.
So, do you not drink because of health benefits?
Yes.
Like, okay, because is the alcohol what causes like the pain in you that causes your back problems?
No.
Or no.
Alcohol contains sugar. And I mean, and the only type of sugar
the reason
consume,
I ask because there's a lot of good studies on red wine, and there's a lot of good studies on red wine helping inflammation. So that's the only, because I've actually been doing some research. Pinot Noir is actually one of the top red wines to drink to reduce inflammation in your body.
Interesting.
So, and there's a lot of studies where and there's this one retirement group. Okay. This a group of people, they're in their 90s. They all retired at the exact same time in the 80s. They all live in this retirement community. People are living into their hundreds in this community. So they were like doing all this. What's the?
They drink a glass of red wine a day.
Live yes, but none of them are related. So it's all different.
What is it called? A blue zone or
I think, I know,
red zone, blue zone.
Yeah, something like that. But this health, like the health professional and all this stuff, and the things that these people had in common. Walked every day, 45 minutes to an hour every single day.
Yep.
And a glass of red wine was another one. But these people were like, oh yeah, I ate my cake and I have like sugar and da 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 da. And then I was sitting there going, but the biggest component I got out of it was the walking. These people getting out there and walking miles in their 90s.
Yeah. I think it's mostly the walking.
Probably. But yeah, I was curious. I was wondering what wine out there, if anything, had benefits and what grape. And so that's where I found that was
Russell
Pinot Noir.
Bevan's, the Bevan Wine Cellars has one of the best Pinot Noirs in the world.
Yeah. You know, I have so much wine at the house, just I've gotten for free through the years, and it just sits there. I never pull it out. I never open it.
I'm worried that some of your wine is no good anymore because of how you had it stored for a while.
Could be. I don't know.
You remember I gave you a refrigerator because I was that concerned about it.
It's in the refrigerator.
I know it is now, but
yeah.
Whether or not.
I know. I've been kind of curious. I've thought about opening one and seeing what it's like.
You got a few good ones. But.
Yeah. No.
You're going through this whole thing. Was there a shaky leg period where you're like, man, I mean, do I know who I am anymore?
Oh, absolutely. That was it. That was
identity.
That is, the power of the mind and how here's how my life works. And to actually just completely throw that away and start over.
Yep. That's exactly what I was doing. I mean, our whole social life revolved around going to Bonvino on Friday night and drinking wine, and the vacations that we planned. There's let's go to this vineyard. Let's go to this vineyard. And we chased it around. I mean, it was who we were for, those several years, 2 or 3 years at least.
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait a minute. Who am I without this?
Exactly.
I can't talk to people. I'm anxious. I'm shy. I'm all of the stuff that I thought booze was helping me with, or booze, drugs, women, shopping, eating, gambling. There's so many things that can manifest out there that it all goes back to one core thing. It's like I don't really know who I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an identity issue. Almost all of these things fall back.
Fall back.
Yeah. It all comes back to identity. Most of the problems that people have come back to identity.
Yeah. Some people, like you just said, some people drink because they don't know how to deal with social. Right. They have social anxiety.
Yep.
So they drink to be able to calm themselves.
Yep.
It took years and years and years to figure out, okay, I like that. That's part of me. And this is part of me, the anger, the quirkiness, the dork part of me, all these little things that make me, I got to hug them. I got to accept them, and quit running from them and pretending like I am some immovable object on stage that's tough and, nothing can do, nothing can hurt me. But inside, it's kind of a cliche saying that, the harder that external shield, the softer the inside and the more vulnerable, and balancing that,
Almost like you're concentrating so much on the hard outside that you ignore the inside.
Totally. And then forget what I really want. And then you lose yourself in that other person. And yeah, being in a band certainly accelerated that. There was drink and drug and all kinds of stuff just thrown at you all the time. And it starts off as a fun little thing, and then it turns into an escape. And then all of a sudden you don't remember why you're out there doing stuff. I went on tour just so I could go to the strip club, hey, we're going to this place, or we're going to drink here, and, knew all that stuff. But the actual playing on stage, it kind of got forgotten about a little bit. We get caught up in the rock star stuff. And there's a song on this album called Moth into Flame that directly talks about how fame can be this crazy drug, and it can completely take you over if you.
Yep.
I can see that.
That's what I like so much about Rush, is they didn't ever let that happen.
Well, I think it's an adrenaline rush.
Oh, yeah.
Big
time. I know that for sure.
People feed off of that.
Let it, you're searching for that thing that's going to save you, and it's you, it's in you, it's already there.
Yep.
You just gotta find it and accept it.
Yep.
Yep.
This is the Lawyer Dana Show.